Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. The escalation between Hezbollah and Israel have reached a point where the Taliban from Afghanistan are getting involved. But it's not just the Taliban, it's the other Islamic forces organized and coordinated by the Islamic Republic of Iran, who are all on their way towards Lebanon. In this video, we're going to give you guys all the details. Alright, over the last couple of days, we've been hearing a lot about the tensions between both sides. Of course, the operation in Gaza is almost over. We have some update on that as well from the IDF side. A Washington Post reported that the Hezbollah claims to have more than 100,000 fighters, right? Also, potential support coming from Iran, Iraq, Yemen, Afghanistan, and of course, the fake country that is Pakistan, because it's an acronym. Now, while Hezbollah and Israeli officials are expressing readiness for potential conflict, we have the international community, the Western globalists, who are freaking out about what could happen to the American interests in the region, so they want to de-escalate the situation. There doesn't seem to be any sort of possibility of that for now, especially if the Iranian regime continue to rally the troops from Afghanistan and Iraq and other places to go towards Lebanon. Now, the Taliban joining is kind of hilarious, considering they don't really have a professional armed forces. They don't really have a proper air force in that sense. And also, all the equipment that they stole from Joe Biden's America a couple of years ago with the fall of Afghanistan, they've lost most of them. Oopsie. What happened to them? Oh yes, the Islamic Republic of Iran knocked on the door in Afghanistan saying, we are here to pick up everything you've got. And in exchange, we will protect you against ISIL and all the others and the Sunni extremists. So this is basically the contract between Iran and Afghanistan that's been created over the last couple of years. The Chinese Communist Party are also obviously, as an interventionist country, they have also gotten involved in both Iran and Afghanistan. China continued to buy out Iran and all the institutions and all the industries in Iran with all the it's oil and gas contracts and everything else, but also the Chinese Communist Party now have an official base in Afghanistan as well, even though they just say we are there to mediate, essentially, with the help of the Russians. So the Eastern globalists are doing their own thing. The Western globalists are freaking out as well, but everything goes back to what's going on in Gaza as well, because Yahya Sinwar is still hiding like a little mouse. But the IDF have come out to show strength, saying that that's just the last bit of puzzle. Everything else is actually sorted. Now, Yahya Sinwar and the Palestinian side, before we get back to the Hezbollah side, according to Reuters and Al Arabiya, the hostage exchange, obviously the issue, and the ceasefire deal is facing another roadblock. Now, they have said, the leadership in Gaza, that Fatah in the West Bank have now called off the plans to meet them in China. They were supposed to be meeting in China, organized by the Eastern globalists, to sort something out. But there doesn't seem to be any sort of unity between the West Bank and Gaza. Surprise, surprise. Which goes back against the narrative from the globalists who want to say, we need a two-state solution. You cannot have a two-state solution when you don't know which side of the Palestinian territory is going to be in charge. Is it going to be Yahya Sinwar? Is it going to be Mahmoud Abbas? Who is going to be the Palestinian territory? Hamas spokesperson come out to say the Beijing meeting was postponed at the request of the Fatah movement. Netanyahu's talk about concluding a partial agreement confirms his indifference to the lives of the detainees. Our position is positive with the efforts of the mediators to reach an agreement. So let's just get this straight. Over the last 8 months, the leadership in Gaza have been using different types of mediators, and almost every single one of them have been, let's just say, imperfect. First, they had the Qataris to mediate, biased. Then they had the Egyptians, weak and feeble. Then they had the Americans, also biased against Israel. Now they have China. None of it is going to work. And they're still trying to hold the narrative that your hostages are not hostages. They were lost on the 7th of October. And we found them and we're protecting them. And if you want them back, then basically surrender. Yeah, that makes sense. That's quite logical, isn't it? Right? Now, the IDF have now come out to confirm that the operation to dismantle the leadership in Rafah, the Rafah brigade, has now been almost completed. Saying that we have achieved a significant progress in Rafah, eliminating many terrorists and destroying critical infrastructure. The 162nd Division now controls the Philadelphia corridor, cutting off Hamas's supply lines. We are nearing the point where the Rafah brigade is no longer functional as a fighting unit. Your efforts to eliminate them and dismantle their infrastructure, highly appreciated. The chief was talking to the soldiers. Keep up the impressive work. This is according to the head of the IDF speaking to the members before the next operation in Gaza. Now, going back to the support that Hezbollah in Lebanon are now going to be getting from Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, even Yemen. We have the latest video that shows the children in Yemen, or southwest of Yemen, that's controlled by the Houthis, preparing to join the battle. There's a problem here. These children, Yemeni children, who are being used by the Houthis, and these are the same kids who the Western liberals and the Western leftists, activists, when they come out to protests in London, in New York and other places, they support them. They chant and saying, Yemen, Yemen, turn the boats around, basically supporting the Houthis. They are supporting an organization, not just a terrorist organization, but an organization that uses kids, not just uses kids, brainwashes kids to do, let's just say, a very specific German salute. So these are the Houthis. These are the people who are supported by the Western liberal leftists and the Islamists on our streets. They're doing a National Socialist salute. That's normal, apparently, in 2024. Almost 100 years after what happened with Adolf. It's normalized again. It's normalized. It's back. They claim to be only having an issue with Netanyahu, but that is not true. It's not really just about these kids who have been brainwashed by the Houthis, but actually, we've seen footage and images from Berlin in Germany, outside shops that happen to be owned by Jewish people in Germany, spraying the swastika and, of course, the Star of David in a certain shape. That's happening. Meanwhile, the supporters of the Houthis in the Western world, in the United Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen, in the UK, specifically in the north of England, Yorkshire. The latest video we have from Yorkshire shows that the police, you can see the image, we're going to show you the video in a second, the police standing there watching the pro-Palestinian side, jumping up and down on the Star of David. Now, there's an issue here. Imagine if the other side would jump on some sort of Islamic symbol on the floor, on the ground. The police would definitely drag them and, of course, arrest them. Let's go to this video from Yorkshire. Yeah, that's now happening in Yorkshire, north of England. The police just witnessing it. Now, the funny thing about this is that I'm not even claiming that you should be arrested for jumping up and down on a flag. It's a free liberal West. Do whatever you want to do. But the hypocrisy is the problem. The hypocrisy, the double standards of policing is the problem. As I said, if you do the same thing, but with, for example, the flag of the Islamic Republic of Iran, because in the middle of the flag, it has the Islamic symbol for Allah. If you do that, it's insulting. Not only you will be arrested by the police, but people from Bangladesh and Pakistan to the rest of the Arab world will start rioting. Will start targeting churches, synagogues, and everything else that they can see, because they are insulted, because they are insecure. They are very much snowflakes. They like to cry all the time. This is the Islamic world. They are always ready to be offended. They're always ready to be violent, because that's what they've been taught in their book. It literally says violence comes first. That is the point of it. That's why you insult them once you make a joke, they will come for you. They don't have discussions. They don't even try to ignore it. They don't say we are the bigger people, it's okay. They don't forgive you. No, they will come for your children. They will come for your women. They will come for your nation. And they have come for our nations. Over the last few decades, what you are seeing happening to the Western world with the help of our governments and politicians opening the door is vengeance. This is their revenge. They are taking over because they think that we have not allowed them to spread their ideology. We kicked them out of Spain all those centuries ago. They are coming back. They are snowflakes. They are insecure. They have mental illness. This is the problem with the ideology. There's no peace. It's a religion of pieces. This is what they're doing now. And they're going to be offended because I'm saying this right now, proving my point exactly. They're going to be insulted. Always ready to be insulted. Always ready to be offended. Always ready to cry and hit themselves. See the problem? You cannot reason with this ideology. Brainwashing kids to do the National Socialist salute in 2024. Evil, absolutely evil people. It's a brutal ideology. Never surrender. Someone says, don't forget they come for your goats too. Exactly. Protect your goats. Always. Let's go to the live chat. We have some super chat people as well. Keith Lawton, thank you so much, Mr. Lawton, again for your regular support. Using children as weapons, how ugly of a nation. Don't the Taliban already have enough trouble without joining a conflict against Israel? I know. Well, no, they feel confident because inside Afghanistan, they now feel protected by China, Russia, and Iran, because the Russians and the Chinese have created their bases there, and because obviously the Eastern globalists are now pushing out the Western globalist side, the Iranians are there to protect them as well. So the actual internal issues for the Taliban is minimized for now. They are ruling over Afghanistan easily. That's why they think they can come and fight the IDF. They will be destroyed within 12 minutes. Terry says, starting to think that Israel should give the land back to the people that gave it them. Instead taking over more land of the people that let them settle there in 19... Is it just me? I don't understand the sentence. This isn't clear. Starting to think that Israel should give the land back to the people they gave. What people was that? There was no Palestine before. You had Jews and Christians and Muslims living in different tribes in the so-called Palestinian territory, the Palestine Mandate of the British Empire. There was no state or country. There was no Palestinian. The word Palestinian applied to anybody that was living in those tribes at the time. So you could be a Jew, you could be Christian, or you could be Muslim. Now, the word Palestinian since the 1960s means Arab Muslim. Before, it wasn't that. I'm not really sure what the rest of the sentence is, but fair enough. Marion says, heartbreaking seeing kids being used and brainwashed. I agree. And Danny Carr says, repeating history, thousands of the Islamic people joined the SS. Yep, let's not forget about that, because they wanted to learn cookery. Oh dear. And Archive says, this happens because the Western people who have obligation to stand up against it because they have power and values, instead of standing up against it, that they are bending over to it. Yep. And Jesus is God says, people need to wake up. This is a brutal ideology. But it's not new. Centuries and centuries, there were a lot of threats. You saw what happened with the Islamic Empire. It wasn't peaceful. We didn't learn, apparently. Sammy J says, Terry Berry doesn't know history. I'm still confused about that comment, and I'm not really sure what the objective was. Was it actually sarcastic? I can't really tell. What else do we have? Well, yeah, let's not forget Palestine, the Arab Muslim version of Palestine was birthed in the mind of the KGB. Yep. The post-Russian Revolution things, the whole game changed in the Middle East. That's why they decided to also try to take over the northern parts of Iran, while the Brits got involved and the British took over the south of Iran, and the whole thing was a complete mess when you had the eastern side and western side fighting over certain territories. I don't think you understand me. The Taliban has problems with all of their neighbors inside. They are troubled with ISIS and they have international sanctions. No, that's exactly what I meant. They have now been protected by the Russians and Chinese and Iranians. The ISIS threat is now almost eliminated at this point. The relationship with Pakistan is basically controlled by the Iranians. So things seem to be stable for the Taliban at this time. That's why they become delusional and feel that they are confident to now fight the IDF. It's not going to happen because they don't have the same expertise as, for example, the IDF as a defense force. Even if they think that, we can just leave Afghanistan for a little bit because we got the Chinese and the Iranians there, they got the bases there, everything's fine, we could just leave a couple of our soldiers there. It's still not a good idea for them. But that's why I don't really think the Taliban are going to send many of their militants to Lebanon. They might just send a couple as a symbol, and obviously the rest of it will just be the Iranian regime doing it. The Saxon says, Terry Berry, your birth certificate was actually a letter of apology from the hospital to your parents. Oh dear, the live chat is getting juicy, guys. Oh, there we go. This guy's back, God's child. Free all European nations and all of their minorities. Please just go home. Ask Jesus Christ to forgive you and have a wonderful day. No more hate. Well, it really depends how you define Europeans, considering the whole of the European nations have been mixed with everybody else as well. Yeah, especially if you want to count the Vikings as Europeans in the northern parts. Just because they're white doesn't mean they were the same. Now they are similar, but not back in the day. History is important, guys. Richard says Islam is showing its true face. We need to see that Islam is the Antichrist. But all the Muslims are extremists, and the good Muslims have the opportunity to stand up and be countered or go down with the evil ones. Michael says that Sinwar nutter looks like a right miserable git. I know, yeah. I think there's a correlation between the leaders who have been left behind in Gaza, like Yahya, and Ismail Haniyeh and the others who went to live in penthouses in Qatar. They're always very smiley, the ones who are in Qatar. Yahya Sinwar never smiles anymore. He's always looks like a dog. Always reminds me of Donald Trump's speech when he took out Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, and he made that speech saying, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi died like a dog. I said, Abu, why are you crying? Yeah, call him crybaby al-Baghdadi. I wouldn't have cried. Abu, don't cry. Yeah, that's basically Yahya Sinwar's fate as well, eventually. If all those mongrels are going to Lebanon, I fear for the Christians. Well, no, because the Christian world will definitely need support from the western side in Lebanon. My optimism would say there will be some sort of support, but I can't really tell these days anymore. The Americans are all over the place. They can't even handle their own governments in the White House, let alone the rest of the world. The days of the Americans being the world police is a little bit iffy these days. That's why they created the vacuum for the Eastern globalists to come up. Oh, we have another Islamic person who's now been offended. I told you earlier, the whole culture is based on being offended, being insecure being sad and crying and being angry and violent. I called Yahya Sinwar a dog. Ibrahim says, "You are a dog, not him. How dare you be mean to my uncle Yahya Sinwar? He's a lovely, lovely grumpy man. I'm so offended, Maya. Oh." Get a better therapist. If you have mental issues, see a therapist. You don't have to be angry all the time. They wanted war, they got it, now they're crying. Yep. What? This person says, Jesus is white. Israel belongs to Jesus. When did Jesus become white? Oh. At best, he had the same skin tone as the Romans, who are not white. They're olive skin. What is the obsession with Jesus' skin color? Oh dear. I don't think Jesus will be happy to hear that people are still obsessed with skin color. We have this Lana Logic, just typing in Arabic. I cannot translate this. There's a lot of watermelons as well, which is making me hungry. I don't know. Someone said dogs are loyal and adorable. Yes, Yahya Sin was not. Yeah. Oh my God, this guy is still going. God said he hated the Jews. When did he say that? You are the children of the devil. You do realize Jesus and his followers, who then became Christians, they were Jews. They were all Jews. God didn't hate them. God always said, hate the sin, not the sinner. He even loved the prostitutes. You're the children of the devil, and it really is you that makes all the decisions of the world. What? And it's really you that's killing the world and my white family. My white family. Oh dear. We have crazy people from all sides attacking today, which is kind of funny. It's quite entertaining. And the more they watch the video, the more they will help with the algorithm to spread the video, which is very, very nice, by the way. So thank you very much. This person is still going about whiteness. White light shine bright in the Bible, King James Version. What? Jesus is using the Bible and DNA, but you hate white people. You murdered us, and you went. Who's he talking about? I don't hate white people. My girlfriend's white. Some of my best friends are white. What is happening? I think everyone's losing their mind as the weather gets hotter and warmer in the summer. I'll become shinier, and also everyone else losing their minds from this side and that side and all the different sides. Superchaff, another one saying, will we ever get our lives back and fighting? And well, yes, I'm still optimistic. We have to go through darkness for a short period of time, but we will come back, and the Western world will be liberated and saved, as well as Iran and Israel. They will be free. That's my optimism. What's this? I hope these comments will pop up, but I just caught up on the live made about Hindus. I am myself a Hindu from within the Commonwealth, and I found some comments quite offensive and hurtful. Please rethink. So I don't know if you're talking to the people leaving comments on myself, because that will be nonsensical. And if you're a Hindu and also getting offended like the Islamic side, then that's not our problem. You know, everything goes back to your upbringing and parenthood. And if you still get offended and hurt, again, get a therapist. But the whole point of that video was that the Tory party are patronizing the Hindus, the British Hindus in this country, by offering them freebies instead of actually treating Hindus in Britain like equal people, respect them like every other person. No, they want to bribe them so they could vote for the Tory party. That's disgusting. And we actually, in that same video, we had Indians coming to also, we showed you the statement to say we don't want this. This is patronizing. This is actually not, this is not the right way of treating us. Just because we are Hindu doesn't mean we are different. We are still normal people treating us with respect. And if you're hurt by that, that's not my problem. Go talk to the other Hindus. Exactly. Free speech rules. One of these days. And yes, Avalon's right. We love the Hindus. Good people. Apart from those who get offended. Oh dear. What else going on? Exactly. Mo Barkley is right. Offense is taken, not given. Anything could offend you. You just need to ignore it. Anyway, let's see what else is going on. We're gonna take a break. It's been a while. I'm gonna come back. We're now gonna be talking about the general election in the next video, because it's all kicking off with Reform UK and the mainstream media. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.